Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, your favorite game ever, or really everyone's favorite game to hate ever, is back at it again with another update. It's Arknights Endfield with the second half of version 1.4, and of course, we all know that sort of like Uma Musume horse girl sort of like banner thing that's on the left over here. And what I wanted to do today was actually have a bit of a discussion, not just about the overall performance of the latest half of Arknights Endfield 1.4, but actually some of the downstream impacts that we've already been seeing on the balance of the game as a whole, and how the developers are already beginning to mortgage the game's future, and we're likely going to be seeing a lot more predatory stuff down the road, because they have basically opened the door, and we have the numerical proof for it. They've opened the door to some of the most disgusting power creep, disgusting kit design, and of course, disgusting deletion of account value for day one players. Yes, they're literally making pulls now worth more than pulls before. There's literally been pull inflation, and I'll get into that in just a second. But of course, we've got to talk about how overall the second half of 1.4 was received. As you can see, AKE 1.4's first half was pretty short-lived in that the game was already approaching sort of like sub 100 viewers on the lead up to Lino's release. And then once it actually does release, Hypergryph didn't have near the amount of budget or funding to kind of like, you know, do what they always do when it comes to these banners. And let me show you what they always do. Yeah, they do this thing where they heavily promote the game via ads, sponsorships, paying people to play the game. Think about like Gacha Smack for a second. He never streams Endfield a single time. Like Gacha Smack is like the ideal CC to talk about when it comes to these like marketing campaigns, because it's this simple. All I need to do is look at his profile, and based off of his stream history, I know whether or not Hypergryph is sponsoring an update. For example, he has no Endfield 1.4 stream for the second half. So that means that they really didn't sponsor that many people, right, for the second half of the update, which you can kind of see reflected, well, in the numbers over here, right? Like, you see that reflected over there. Unsimilarly, though, to, when you look at this part, well, you looked at this, right? This was, wait, let me see if I can get the daily chart over here. Yeah, no, that was a lot. Yeah, that was a lot of people that got sponsored for that one. And as you can see, the viewership numbers have sort of like taken a dip as well, and the game just got Thanos snapped once again after, well, I guess recovering some players. We're back down to like the low thousands, probably below 500 extremely soon. So you can see overall, the game is not doing that well on the engagement side. But that's not it, ladies and gentlemen. There's more. Remember that whole bit I was talking to you before about like the power creep and all of that? These are the top DPS teams in Endfield following the release of Lino. And let me go ahead and pinpoint you to this. This is the new unit, right? Lino. Where is she showing up? Remember, this is just every team in the game sorted by DPS. She's there, she's there, she's there, she's there. Oh. And here's finally one team where she's not on it, and Arcane's on it. Okay, all right. What else we got going on? Then there was back to her. Yeah, same exact thing going on over here. Do you see what's happening? Do you guys see what's happening, ladies and gentlemen? This is all with P0 characters. These are all P0 characters, and let me just double check real fast. Are these weapons also like maybe I think every team has like R4 weapons too, so I guess it's not that big of a deal. Yeah. Y'all see what's going on? That doesn't look very good for the future of the game, right? But let me show you this. What happens if we force this DPS list to include 1.x units? Sorry, Endfield is still in 1.x, 1.0 units. Because the power creep is going to be occurring before the version number has even moved, much like Zenless Zone 0 with the release of Miyabi. Let's see what happens when I force Levitate to be in one of the team slots. Oh. And look who is there, Camille. Oh, that's not very good, is it? So, this includes a 1.3 unit on the team. Just look at the DPS number. That's almost 50%. It's like 40-something%. Maybe high 30s. That is the DPS difference between using a Levitate team. And remember, everyone here's, they've all got their SIGs too. So what's exactly going on? What's going on, guys? Because the last time I saw a DPS increase like this, it was still a gacha game, but the game was Genshin Impact. Oh, and guys, this is the thing. Why don't I put in Yvonne? Like, That's not that much better, is it? You're still like 50k off. Sorry, 54k off. That's a lot, isn't it? What if we decide to take a step back, right? Rossi. No, this bitch was released in 1.1. She's 40k off. She's 40k off, bro, in her best team. And what else we got? How about Gilberto? And Gilberto's only on here because Arcane's on her team. Gilberto's only on here because Arcane's on her team. And then she has another team with Lino on it. And these are the results that come out of that one. So you can kind of see what's going on. If you have Lino and Arcane, you're suddenly reaching like 150k DPS when like all these other 1.x teams, they're not even fucking close. And when was the last time, ladies and gentlemen, you saw like a release like this? Oh, right. Mavuika Sitlali. And right when Mavuika released, and she was somehow like 25% better than the Natlanese DPS. Guys, other DPS teams were doing 60k at this time. They were doing 60k. And so Natlan comes in with like 74 and people are like, oh, okay, that's not too crazy. Then Mavuika comes in and does 50% more damage than the old teams in the game, than Nouvellette teams that were doing 60, 65. She's doing 95, bro. And guys, you all know what people said? The same shit some AKE players are saying right now. I already have some AKE players saying, oh, well, my stuff is going to clear. My stuff still clears. It actually just cleared it in just 47 seconds. Let me show you the Spiral Abyss HP history and Genshin Impact. Mavuika and Sitlali released in version 5.3. That's right here, 5.3. And as you can see, HP, let me just make this interactive. Yeah, let me just make this interactive. There you go. Okay, so like HP inflation doesn't look too crazy here, does it? Right? Because it's just 5.3 is right fucking there, bro. 5.3 is right there. It doesn't look bad, right? Then Mavuika and Sitlali get released. And you wanna know what happens the next patch? Oh. Oh, fuck! And it just gets worse from there. You see what's going on, right? Yeah, that's not very good, is it, right? And that's what Genshin did right after the release of Mavuika Sitlali. Right there. Boom. That was a patch right afterwards, retard. And so, guys, just because your teams can clear right now, they just introduced teams into the game that deal, like, almost 100% more damage, bro. They deal almost 100% more damage than other teams. Bro, you are going from 89k to 153. That's almost 100% bonus. And guys, Enfield's only on version 1.4. It's only been 5 updates. And they've had power creep close to like 80-90%. What's 152 divided by 89? Bro, it's 70.7% power creep. Bro, they have around 70.7% power creep in 5 updates. And remember, isn't 1.0 the most top-heavy patch pull-wise? And so you likely spent all your pulls on Levy and her weapon or somewhere along those lines for units that are 70% worse. Great, your pulls are worth basically 70% less than what they are now. But you already spent all of these, right? You already spent all of these, right, on characters that they're already putting in the fucking bin. Don't you love this gacha system? When you combine it with this gacha system where they give you no fucking pulls and then you can't pull until you hit 120. And now you know all the pulls that you spent over here were worthless on worthless units because they released ones that deal 70% more damage. Within 4 updates, bro. Within 4 updates, 70% damage. And this is the thing, right? Maybe these calculations are completely incorrect. Or maybe this game is undergoing some of the worst balancing ever, and knowing that this game is just populated by grifters and shills who will lie about everything going on just to say the game is good, I wouldn't be surprised if there's just nobody talking about this. I wouldn't be surprised if there's just no, like, Enfield CCs are just choosing not to involve this in the discussion. Because, of course, that would be another nail in this game's bucket when it is clearly on one of the most diabolical downtrends anyone's ever seen in the space. And this is just another notch. The power creep. Because you want to know what is obviously super clear about this power creep as well? It ain't enough. These are the day 1 sales trends of this game. And as you can see, it's just going down, down, down on a merry-go-round. And it's been like that since release, just a straight downward trend. And even with the two most broken characters in the game, they can't get back, well, above the average. They already went into milking mode this early, with units that just deal almost double the damage of everybody else. And this is CN. Last time it was JP, they're like kind of weird, that's why Rossi was so high. That is CN's record. The lowest of all so far, despite being 70% stronger than what was released before. That is this game, bro. That is the trend this game is on. And I probably don't need to be the person to tell you that the writing is on the wall for even more bullshit down the road. Because how is it that, like, a fucking, bro, this Camille unit, bro, like, bro, he got released last patch. This is his best team, and he got released last patch. Obviously, balance wasn't that big of an issue in this game prior to Lino and Arcade coming out, right? If you look at this, and then you compare it to this, that's not that bad. 89 to, like, what's it called, 106? Some could consider that a rounding error because there's a bunch of 6-star units on this team, right? Nah, bro. There's a 4-star unit over here. That's a 4-star unit. Just so you know, this is like a 5-star unit, right? Endfield has 6 stars. This is a cheap one. This is a budget one. So no, even being a budget character, this is outperforming teams of full 6-star units. The one with the 4-star with the 4-star equivalent on it. That's how broken these fucking characters are. That's how broken these two fucking characters are. And guys, some people are already saying, guys, they already released their Void Hunter. Zhong Fengyi is their Void Hunter. Wasn't that obvious? Like, that's why she had a whole patch dedicated to her, and her banner was the whole patch. Or almost the whole patch. She was the Void Hunter. Yeah, they already released her in 1.3. Or 1.2, bro. This is just another update, as we always do, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to Arknights Endfield. And of course, I'm making sure to take the time to talk about topics that probably no CC in the space is going to talk about. You ain't going to see Griff to Smack, right? Talking about the fact that they have 70-point-something% damage inflation in 4 fucking updates. You're not gonna hear Moose on cocaine talking about that shit either. You might hear Kuki Kaze talking about it, but this is the thing. This space is infested. And there's a reason why there's no viewership, no engagement, no actual videos for it at all on YouTube. And this is probably going to be one of the only ones you see regarding the update. But that's just how it is. And honestly, I'm kind of cool with that because this game deserves to die. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.